Welcome, everybody, to the latest episode of The Testing Room, where three of the gaming industry's best video game consultants who have never actually consulted on a video game bring you new topics each and every week. As always, I'm Alex, and I'm back from vacation.
Yeah.
I'm Christian, aka Sudobudo45.
I'm Preston, a.k.a. Funkadelic Jedi.
Yeah, so I haven't listened, before we go over to your corner, Preston, I haven't listened to last week's episode yet, because I just got back, and I'm already traveling for work. If you guys can't tell, this is not my beautiful office. So I was at home like less than 24 hours.
Sucks.
But I haven't listened to last week's episode. What did you guys do with the audio? How do we work that in?
So, how Preston did it was actually, I just want to give him props. It actually,
Thanks.
I thought came in so clutch. So it was like, so he got the recordings that you gave him, and then as we would talk about it at the end, after Preston would get done talking about the part,
The chapter.
like that chapter,
Because
he
you
would
split
play
up in the chapters
yours.
for us, so it was very nice to
Yeah.
just put it that way.
So he would play that part. We would listen to it through Discord, and then we would discuss afterwards, and it worked out perfectly.
Well, almost perfect.
I-
I made it perfect because I'm like, oh yeah, let's just listen to his audio. I didn't check OBS to see what our video looked like for when I popped his audio up through it, and it was just completely off. So I'm like, okay, well the game is going to be full screen for the next 15 minutes, and then we'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
I had feedback from somebody that said, "Oh, it's funny. Like you sound like you're very much over that game," and I don't know that I meant it to sound like that. It's not true, but I don't know that I meant for it to sound that way.
That as well. Yeah.
But like, but I played it, and I wrote everything. Right, I wrote it all down. I took notes by chapter and so on, and then like that night, I was like, oh, I'll record tomorrow morning while we're doing XYZ, and something came up, and my morning did not work out the way that I thought it would. So then it was like, we got back to the hotel late that night, and luckily it was like 5 hours or 6 hours ahead of you guys. I was like, shit, I gotta record. So I just made Allie like be quiet, and I turned off the TV and recorded there quickly in bed into voice memos and sent it off. But I was trying to like read my notes. I was going through it. And I was just getting frustrated as going through it. And I'm sure that'll continue today as we finish up.
I was going to
for
say,
this
if
week-
people
later
are
this week.
concerned, that we sound like we were frustrated with this game, boy, are you in for an episode today.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be later this week, right? We will bring you
Yes.
our final part of that. But for now, Preston, let's hop over to your corner and see what's going on over there.
Got a couple comments. One we missed out on because YouTube was a really bad way of giving me notifications for just this comment. I went even to the episode that he said, just Jake, that he said he commented on, and like it shows one comment but didn't show his comment. I had to change it and sort it by new just for it to populate. So I don't know what was up with that comment from Jake, but YouTube did not like it.
I think YouTube shadow banned Jake's account. That's what it sounds like.
I
other
would
comments get through
believe
just fine.
Preston, except for the fact that he also had an issue with this game pick, and then Jake had to like show receipts.
Well, I mean,
So I'm not sure.
that doesn't have a notification bell attached to it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm blaming YouTube on this one, okay? Just let me have that.
Okay.
So first one from 2 weeks ago, under the How Much for Coldplay episode of the weekly. And here we go. Jake writes in, if someone told me they got Coldplay tickets and needed to pay $700+ for it, I'd tell them to send the bill to 123 Get Fucked Lane, Your Mom's House, USA. Edit. Real question, what's everyone's thoughts on early 2000s tropical levels in video games? I'm talking Sonic Adventure, Final Fantasy X, Sunshine, etc. Something about it makes me all fuzzy inside.
Okay, so first of all, I agree. And Final Fantasy X was not just a level. It was a whole experience.
First of all, that was a town. It had people in it, and its name was Besaid Village.
There was also Luca that got destroyed, so put some respect on it. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of with Jake on this. Like, I think some of the early colorful game design back in the day really affected the overall tone that I enjoy in today's gaming, right? Like, I like a dark game occasionally, but if I had my druthers, if I had to pick, like, I like the bright and sunshiny and colorful lands of fantasy games and other stuff, and that's probably why I tend to go to that stuff.
I mean, it's why we were
RPGs
excited
way.
that Like a Dragon 8 was in Hawaii.
Yeah. Yep.
Dawn Trail.
It's why Final Fantasy 14 looked great because they went in the more
Yep.
Polynesian look to it, right? So like, yeah, I would agree with Jake. Like, it makes me feel warm and fuzzy too. I think I tend to go that way, and I enjoy the colorful happiness of that sort of stuff personally.
I think it's just like, yeah, I think it really has to do with a lot with the color palette. Like, I think that can
Music
sort of just
usually
make
too. And there's like the ambient
Yeah.
sounds of like
I think that stuff can
waves
just-
and seagulls, those devil birds. It's not bad.
yeah. Yeah, I think we could just make some of that stuff pop. I think honestly the best example though is one that Jake mentioned, which is the opening level in Sonic Adventure. I mean, there was, if if you were the type of person to have a Dreamcast back then, there was very little that blew you away more than putting that game in, playing it, and having, killer whales do like jump over you, like free willy jumps, like as you're doing the running sections and that. So yeah, I think that stuff is perfect. Yeah, I love a good beach. I mean, even all of Crazy Taxi is perfect for that same reason. It's that big, bright, colorful sort of color palette that sort of just pops.
For sure. Yeah, I have a hard time thinking of like other beach scenes just because I can't remember like specific games from that time period. But yeah, even beyond that, like Super Nintendo and stuff like that, usually a beach scene somewhere else in a game, and 100% love that kind of shit. Good feelings. Good
Mario,
feelings.
I mean, it continues on. In a lot of
Super
games.
Mario
Odyssey.
Sunshine.
Well, no, but even like more recent
talk about
Odyssey, right? With the hat, like there was.
Fuck
a
you,
great
Preston.
beach.
Super Mario Sunshine's great. You're just a hater, dude.
Yeah, wonderful camera controls.
I mean,
It's
we
better
played
than
a
this
lot
game.
of games recently.
Hey, I'm not saying that these are good. I'm just saying Sunshine also had its problems.
Just because it has problems doesn't mean it's not a good game. It's all right.
You're right.
I'll let you.
Anything else from the corner there, Jake?
Yes,
For the question?
we got one from last week from Tori. Dear Christian, I have been known to make some not so smart choices in my life, but I would never intentionally hurt myself by finding out how much money my Steam library has cost me. I could not do that to myself, but I will say if you let your OCD win and you organize your Steam library and put everything into folders and collapse those folders and just have those games you actively are playing in view, it can be much shorter list, so it does not look so bad. I'm trying to be a responsible adult during the fall sale. So far, I've picked up the Batman Arkham Collection. I really want to play Arkham Asylum again and Monster Hunter World, along with the Iceborne DLC. Gotta get some practice in before Wilds comes out, And then last little side note, Castlevania Lords of Shadow is a game, that's for sure. I wouldn't say a great game, but at times it can be fun. There is just a lot of fluff that can cut out of this game. I mean, it doesn't feel like a chore to play, but I don't have a deadline to finish chapters. Hopefully it's better for you, Alex. Until next time, Tori.
So
First of all, really quick.
I'll say to Tori's library thing, I don't look at how much I've spent because I also don't want to know. But I enjoy
See, how do you
basking
organize?
in my
Yeah.
family share library. Of
Oh, I do too.
ability. I've given every game from our shared family library to the ones that I personally bought to my old games that have been turned digital for my own preservation. I've given every single game custom artwork, and I enjoy the hell out of it.
Yeah.
So, that's insane. That's crazy. I cannot believe you did that. That's wow. Shout out to you.
Every time you guys add something, the first thing I do before I go into a game I'm going to play
like sweet.
is give every new thing custom artwork, and then
I get to Google
go
cover
do it.
art.
Oh my god. That's. I mean, now that you're on top of it, I guess it's not that bad. But Jesus Christ, going through fucking however many games we have was.
Man, it's like reorganizing your DVD library. It's just fun to do.
I know,
Yeah.
but what I was gonna say was, so I agree with how Tori was talking about how she organizes things. What I do is I go even more in like a binary way. Is if I'm playing the game, it's installed. If I'm not playing the game, it's not installed. And then I have it sorted by installed and not installed, and then I just go from there and do that because it's a little bit easier to manage, just to keep things front of mind because I will wander. Like if I have something going and I know I'm like, oh, I need to go finish this, whatever. But if I have like all this other stuff installed, ready to go, I'm like, well, I mean, Yeah, just pop in there real quick, play a little bit, and then.
Do you ever like pop on Steam Deck or something in the library, the uninstalled, like just the library piece that has everything, and just scroll through it and go, oh yeah, I got that too. I remember
Yes.
that one, and then just look at it and go, so anyway.
Yeah. But if I had those installed, I would absolutely be like, well, let's pop in and see. I mean, that's the problem with like the Steam Deck as far as some of the classic games that I have loaded on there. Is it makes it very easy just to pop in and just be like, oh, that's 500 games just at my fingertips. I want to do that. So yeah, but I agree it's the best way to do it is to keep that stuff. And yes, I will never recommend that somebody go and look what they've spent on Steam. I do it because just like with Alex and I looking at our Final Fantasy 14 playtime. Sometimes it's nice just to feel something.
Yeah.
There's what I'm done with this. Yes.
Yeah, as far as Tori's comment about Monster Hunter, yeah, Christian and I are doing the same, right? I know we've talked about it, getting prepped for Monster Hunter Wilds. I'm excited to know how those lobbies look. Like, if it'll be easier for the people that you know to join lobbies and see you running around together.
I think it will once you
games.
start doing. Once you have the hunting group set up, I think it will. Mm-hmm. But in the beginning, I think it's gonna be rough. But to be honest, I think we can all feel safe in knowing that when that game launches, its online lobby system is going to crumble.
Mm-hmm. Under all that
under the weight
stress.
of its own, under the weight of its own success.
Yeah, it will only work when you private invite people and then they join that thing, and then it goes like we'll have to create private lobbies and then enjoy those, and then that's just how it's gonna have to be because I know that the amount of people that are gonna hit that day one is going to be who knows. Look,
hey.
Monster Hunter Capcom is doing the Lord's work. They've done good before. I just think that this is going to be way more popular than even they think it's going to be.
Hopefully the open beta kind of gave them an idea of like
the thing is
servers
the open
and
beta
stuff you would want to get taken care of, and everyone jumping in the worlds maybe, and then how much was on Rise, and I think they have enough servers out there.
Maybe the problem is that when they do the open beta, it was only scheduled for certain times. Mm-hmm. So if you weren't able to play in those time windows, then you weren't just SOL.
I know. I only had like one little good small session to come.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I think, but come February, it's just going to be open season. And everybody's just going to be able to get in. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be nasty. I mean, even Dawn Trail, it was mega popular. It was up until obviously people got into it, but launch day when Alex and I hopped in, it was still nasty. We would log on
first thing in the morning and let it set and do your stuff.
That's what you gotta do. Yeah, get in and then make sure you don't get popped out for not touching the keyboard or something.
Yeah.
As far as Tori's last comment around not having a timeline to play it's not that much of a chore. Join us later this week. And we will see how much of a chore it was to finish this game.
I agree. You know what's funny is that she does have a point. There is stuff in this game. I did think it was funny that she mentioned she was it feels like there was a lot of fluff that they could have cut out of this game, and it's true. But also, it already feels like they cut so much out of this game, and that's why it's so disjointed. And it's crazy to me that even with those weird choppy marks, you're there's still more you could have cut. Bad
decisions on what they cut. They probably could have just extended some things to make them better.
Yeah.
Or, I said beforehand, attach this part to that part, because I don't need to spend 10 minutes here going to an whole monologue narrative with Sir Patrick Stewart, and then going back into another 10-minute level. No, just give me one level.
Yeah.
You'll hear it later if you tune in, but
yes, you'll hear it.
The first level was 14 little places, and none of the other levels were ever that much. The next highest was 5 or something, and the final level was 2 and 1. It was the pacing made no sense. But man, we'll talk about this later too. To Christian's point, since you've said this about the jump scares and the ending levels, that always sticks out with me. I had a couple of the best endings to levels. And by best, I mean sarcastically, that I've ever experienced in video games. So I can't wait to talk about this final playthrough.
It's gonna be fun
of this game. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's comments.
Well, I'll start with my week because my week will be the shortest. My week's the easiest because I didn't really get to play much. I tried to play some Metaphor. On the way out, I was actually playing Lord of Shadow, and then I did some sleepies to get on with the time. Mm-hmm. On the way back, I was going to play Metaphor the whole 10-hour flight, and neither one of the power outlets in our seats worked, so I couldn't charge the Steam Deck. Yeah, so that was cool. I did play Metaphor throughout the week, just barely, because I didn't have much time, but I beat the whole first dungeon. Mm-hmm. I got to the end of the first timeline, like the day where they're, going to announce some stuff.
Yeah.
The deadline. Yeah, the first deadline. And now I'm into the second part. It's great. I don't have anything to say about it. It's great. I'm moving on.
Good.
Beyond that, I've watched a billion episodes of Demon Slayer.
Okay.
And I know, I get it. I'm late to this game. I totally understand. But this has been the last few months of catching up on all those animes. I caught up on JoJo. I caught up on My Hero. I finally went back to watch that. I'm at the end of season 3. I think there's only 4 seasons. So I'm damn near caught up.
Okay, so you probably have seen the greatest fight scene that's in that show then.
That's the one with the flame and when they're just hitting back and forth and the camera's spinning. Dude, it's insane. It's insane.
Dude,
the way they mix their little CG with just the general art, it's so good. And I don't know, because I'm so late to this game, everybody else has watched and moved on. I don't know how people feel about the different characters, but in Yusuke or whatever, the guy that wears the war mask,
yeah,
Inosuke, he's the greatest. He's in the third series where he's just I'm god of the mountains just because he wants to compete with the other guy. That's I'm god of Flash. It's just there were multiple times, and that's what I ended up doing on the plane back because my iPad would last the whole time. I was just watching that, and I'm just laughing out loud, on a plane to how ridiculous they are.
Okay, I'm sorry. I know that you're trying to rapid fire, but fuck this. We're talking about that. So. Okay, so did you finish that season? You're in season 4 now?
So the first season they're on the mountain, the second season they were on the train, the third season I just finished, which was the oh god.
The village arc. It's
the village. The village. Yeah, the nighttime, the entertainment. Yep.
Yeah,
I finished that. I have not started 4.
Okay,
cool. Ended with the entertainment district. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, that fight scene, I'm just gonna spoil it for you because it should just be known. The next season is incredible. It's very, very good. Mm-hmm. And on the whole, I think the next season is a better season. There is nothing that they have done
that compares to that fight.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
When that fight scene pops off. It is one of a lot of it is I'm sure it feels this way in Arcane. I just haven't watched it, but even for the little parts of Cyberpunk that you watched, that I know you weren't, or I think you might have finished it.
I watched the whole thing of Cyberpunk. Yeah. It just wasn't my
it wasn't your thing, but the quality of the animation from that studio is obviously very apparent. But there's a few shows out there, but that scene is one where you literally are watching the money be spent in real time. There is so much attention to detail in that scene, and even from the sound effects to everything that's happening, especially towards the end of that fight scene when he's the ninja is listening to the sounds of everything, and it's bouncing off the neurons in his head to know when certain things are coming, and you can hear it all pop off, and then he'll use the smoke bombs and they'll all scatter and explode. Dude, it's so goddamn good, but you're watching it and you're literally oh, I'm just seeing dollars go across the screen.
I mean, it was honestly, it was 2 straight or 3 straight episodes of that.
It's 3 straight episodes,
even who's the other guy's name? I'm not gonna remember. The guy that's asleep that whole fight, and he turns to a completely different character. But he does that Godspeed, whatever he calls it, and when he's fighting the guy's sister, And just the effects of his like lightning dash off of stuff and like sparks hitting, like the whole 3 episodes of that in the town, and when the town like actually explodes at different points, and, like, fire, it's nuts. Like I agree with you. I did feel that when I was watching, it was like somebody spent a lot of money here.
Yeah,
like just doing this. Yeah, very good. Again, I know I'm super late to this game, and everybody's like, "Oh, I'm caught up and moved on." Whatever. Super good.
Well, they should move on because they got 2 movies coming out to finish it all up.
Yeah, that's it.
Is it done?
So the show is done. Like so when you finish season 4 and it ends, the stinging credits for that are we are going to finish this up in 2 feature-length films.
Oh, okay. And I guess the manga's done too then. Like it's just
the manga finished a little while ago. Yeah, it's been finished for a while, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. It's well done. I did think it was funny earlier in the season, where you get to see his sister like go full demon form.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know that I fully understand why in full demon form she kind of gets fan servicey hot. I don't hate it. I just
anime.
Anime.
That's
I
just
guess
anime, and the fans of anime what they want. Yeah, it's just
yeah. It's like, I think she's a little girl, guys. I
you
don't
should
know.
never put small children in anime because people get weird about it.
I mean, okay, Riku. I you know.
I was her age. We're not going to have this conversation. We've had it before.
So, but that's my week, honestly. Like I played the game that we're going to talk about later in this week, right? Lords of Shadow. I finished it, and then I played Metaphor is all that I've played, and then I've been watching a ton of anime. So
okay.
Yeah.
If you want to go, Pressy, I finished a fuck ton of games this week.
Yeah, I got through a lot. I can go though. So still playing through Metaphor. I'm there, man. I'm like 82 hours in. I got 12 days left. Woo. I am getting there, but now I'm spending like half an hour to an hour on each day just to make sure I'm squeezing it just full of all the juice I can get out of it. What can I buy some items? Can I do this over here? Can I get something else bumped up? Because I'm getting to the point now to where like your affinities, your courage, your wisdom, your tolerance, I'm in 4 out of 5 on everything. And there's like 2, maybe 3. I think there's 2 characters that want me to take one of those tiers to a 5. When you get about halfway through the game, Alex, just if you remember, ask us, and we can tell you which ones kind of like focus on, because there's 2 of them that you need to get to 5 to get everyone's bond all the way up. And I don't think I'm gonna make it because I don't think I have enough time to boost those up as fast as I see those go up. I don't think I have time to make it. So there's gonna be 2 characters, 1 in my party, and I think 1 not in my party that I won't be able to boost up. But I've maxed out everyone else though.
This game does something that the old Personas didn't do, and I don't know how I feel about it. But like, if you can go talk to people right in town, like in the first town, you can go talk to them and get your wisdom up or whatever. And you think like, oh, I'll talk to them on this day, and then I'll knock that out, and I'll go do something else. But like, then they show back up the next day, and you can talk to them again for like a little bit of wisdom. And it's like, well, how many effing times can I talk to you? And like, I feel like I shouldn't be talking to you every day. Like, I need to go do other stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I find that weird.
When you want to level them up, like it'll show you, if you go to your followers, you press right left on the D-pad, like it'll show you all the faces and like that. There'll be silhouettes for people you haven't met yet, but there'll be like, it'll turn like on the left top side, it'll have like a little red and yellow kind of exclamation thing saying, "Hey, go to them."
Let me clarify, not your party members.
But just the things in town that have the icons for them.
Yeah, they have the icon. They're like, hey, listening to this guy's story will waste your morning, but it'll also like bump up your wisdom. And you think you do that once and you'd be good. But no, like I did it and everybody's icon is still there and I go chat with them again for a second. They're like,
you can constantly talk to that same person. Yeah.
I don't know. I find that weird. I wish they didn't do that because then it's almost like, well, shit, where do I need to be?
I think that's just to keep you from like being left without options. Now, obviously, once you get all the towns involved, like you have plenty of options at that point. But like, especially in the beginning, like you're gonna want to go back to some of those. Like, oh, this one person needs level 1 tolerance or level 2 or 2 wisdom. Again, they're like, okay, well, I might want to for the next 5 days. Just go ahead and talk to that one person who's giving me enough of that to get to that point. That's probably why. But I mean, yeah, it's kind of sucks because sometimes they only have like 3 dialogue like options or like things written down for them. So you go to the 4th time, it's like, oh, they're going to talk about this again. Or they get very generic, like, oh, you sat down and had a nice conversation over coffee and like you got your wisdom then. It's like, oh, so we're not going to get anything like nice out of this for me outside of like my skill being boosted. Like nothing is here to flavor it up for me to make it feel good. But yeah, I felt that way sometimes about even some of the bonds to where it's like I really wish these were all fully voice acted because it can kind of be hit and miss on what is voice acted and what's not. You either get a chirp toward like hey or I don't know, and then it has like 3 sentences worth of dialogue down there, and then like bond rank number 7, like it's just fully voiced, and then like some of them, the last very bond link I had with them, to where it's like they really get deep and like full hearted and like just emotional, but they're not talking to me. Like this is like the one I would really want to have it to where it was like, but that's kind of hit and miss for certain ones. Some of the writing in them are incredible. Some of them I think are just okay. Personally, I think I've liked Persona's like it depends on the person, but I think I've liked some of Persona's interactions and some of those bonds a little bit more. But this is their first like solo adventure without being Persona game, so I'll give them a little bit of credit. Credit's due.
Preston, I don't know how. Oh, go ahead, Christian.
No, I was gonna say it's weird. I was the opposite. Like I think that every character that's in this game is better on the whole than any of the Persona characters. Like I think
most. I would agree with you most. Yeah.
Yeah. I should say all your party members. I should say.
I don't know how you feel about this. I know Christian said that he appreciated like the way they're doing the friend thing, and you can't romance any of them. But I'm early on in the game, and I've met like 3 people I would totally romance given the choice. And there's like 11 people I haven't met yet, so I'm disappointed.
One of the first people you meet is that like inn owner, and I'm like, got me right through the heart right now. And then it's like you meet the and then you meet the chick with
shop pink hair. Lady. And then you meet the chick with the pink hair. It's like I'm down there. There's like.
I know.
Come on, man.
I know.
I love the idea that Alex and both of you are going over to fucking Atlas's doors. You're like, look, you're trying to keep Daddy in a box here, okay? And it's not okay.
Just give me an option. I'm saying give me an option.
Let me free, man. You let me spread my wings, all right?
All you did was have some dialogue and you cut to black, okay? You told me you couldn't just do that with like 1 or 2 of these over here. Like it's not. You just give me a little extra. I do kind of miss it.
There's bigger things going on in that world.
I know, and then you get caught up in the heat of the moment and emotions, and you get attached, and then maybe you get the little boom rooms action going.
A little bit of loving makes everybody feel better, Christian. It makes the world go round. It brings levity. It brings levity to a heavy situation.
Maybe when I'm taking a bath, I would want to take a bath with somebody, to increase my stamina.
Goodness.
The last thing I want to say, Alex, is at a certain point in the game, there's going to be a bathroom involved, and then I'm just saying that on every day divisible by 5, go take a shit.
Okay. Yeah. I'll do that.
Yeah. So that's metaphor. I'm just, by next time I should be finished with it. My anxiety's building up, and I'm getting stressed out, and I just need to finish this, but I also want to just get everything out of it that I can as much as possible. And then I played a little bit more Outlaws on Star Wars Sunday. So I'm starting from where I left off. So I'm about 25 hours in, according to PlayStation and their fucking tracker of like your progress. I'm about 80% of the way through the game. So this is just a kind of some filler before we get into the new year and just excuse for me to try to finish Outlaws.
So, and a new DLC next year, right?
I'm not touching any of that DLC.
No? All right.
They already have the one DLC out with Lando.
Sure. Yeah.
The next DLC is the Hondo Anada DLC, which I got the actor for. And it's just, when I came back, I thought about it. Don't get me wrong. I'm like, well, that sounds kind of cool. And then I started playing it again on Star Wars Sunday. I'm like, I remember why I stopped playing this game. I really do.
Yeah, but like the new one will be Hondo. Like you've only ever seen Hondo in like one terrible live action thing, and then the animated series. Like, don't you want to play with him? That sounds weird, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but it's just that game is just not the greatest, and I don't know if I want to spend that much money. If this is like a $10, $15 like DLC, maybe
there it is.
But they're charging like full game price for 2 DLCs? Nah, fam, I'm not paying $30+ for DLC. That's just
what if the reviews? What if the reviews come out though and they're really good?
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of great things, but I also heard a lot of great things about these patches that made this game a little bit better, and I'm just not feeling it. I'll still play it. I'll still try to get through it, but the quality improvements, if you will, are not that great. Although I will mention, it is awfully nice being able to grab a secondary blaster and be able to go up a ladder without dropping it. It's really cool. It's been fantastic not to be able to do that. So
I can't even believe that was a feature before, but
You would get a sniper rifle and you couldn't get to an advantage point to use a sniper rifle, man. I mean, like, my God. It's like, just, so she puts it on her back now. You go on your speeder, she puts it on her back. I'm like, great. Glad you can finish your game.
I don't remember you being that strong, opinionated when you were playing it before you quit the last time. Like, I don't remember.
yeah, the problem
emotion.
you want to know why? The problem is that he's been playing Metaphor for 80 hours and he's like, damn, this is a good game.
Yeah,
and so
compared to
now
the-
he's going back and he's like, fuck, this is not. I am not having a good time right now.
Like, a game still looks fantastic, and the dialogue in there is great. It's just it doesn't look great when they're talking, and the gameplay. I'm not the biggest stealth fan in the world too, so that doesn't help my situation because there's a lot of stuff that they would like you to do stealth that you don't have to. But it's not meant to be a go in guns a-blazing type of thing. You can do it. It's not meant to be done though.
They'll have to change that for Hondo. Like, Hondo's a pirate. He's not like a
Alex,
quiet,
So
like...
remember that beginning section of Outlaws where I told you like, oh, it really sucks because the checkpointing is bad because if you get caught in this base, they take you back like, oh, you're caught, and it kind of just pulls the whole like you know game over screen on you. They took that out entirely, other than a few story points that like it makes sense that you shouldn't get caught here. You can just get caught and like, okay, well then just shoot your way out of this now. I'm like, okay, good. That's a
how it
good
should be.
quality life improvement. UI it is completely like just cleaned up and made it look real nice. It's not just covering up everything. They've done some improvements for sure. I'm gonna play a little bit more. I probably just need to get used to the feeling of playing that game and get my mind back around stealthing more. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm sure we're almost done. Finished up I don't know what you call it, Christian. Space Marine 2, not main campaign, side stories.
The co-op, the co-op campaign.
Yeah. I mean, so we finished up like the side stuff to where it's like, oh, you were playing the main campaign, and then the other team took down did some giant explosions in the background. You're playing those missions now. And they had 2 new missions already in there that me and Christian had to play as well. Had a lot of fun with that. Enjoyed it a lot. It's great, especially because you get able to choose your own, build your own Space Marine at this point, choosing your colors and like your pieces of armor and your classes. So I went in with I forget what the class is called, but essentially I have the...
It's like Brawler, I think is what it was called.
It's essentially, I get the jump jet.
Yeah,
jump
you get
pack.
the jump jet
I get
and
the
the
jump
hammer.
pack. It's a class with the jump pack. I'm like, fuck yeah, give me that and the hammer. I'm ready. So I had a lot of fun doing that, just jet packing around and jumping down. And for some reason, we had some weird things to where me and Christian, for some reason, because when you're looking at the menu to choose those things, you don't hover over the sniper, click the X button to choose it. You hover over the sniper and then back out of your menus.
Yeah.
We found that out because we would be looking at stuff, just kind of look at stuff, and the last thing we looked at was the thing that they chose for us. And so I went into the last mission with the fucking sniper. No upgrades, no cool armor, no nothing. Part of me, a little bit way through, was like, I should ask Christian if we can restart the level. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to restart the level. We've already been playing this for 4.5 hours today. We don't need to restart the level.
The best part about it was I was locked in, so I would have totally restarted with you, but you were getting sleepy there by the end.
I was getting sleepy, but just one more. I'm like, okay, yeah, if the wifey's not home, we're down to Space Marine. And then I did a little bit of dabbling. Played a little bit of Black Myth Wukong, probably about the first hour and a half. I just wanted to get the dabble, just want to get the feels for it. That is an incredibly strong open for a game. Oh my God. You being that, I guess it was the older Monkey King or whatever, they showed that the first scenario of the tutorial, but all those gods and giants in the background of you standing on top of there, above the mountain and everything. Holy shit, that game, they just pumped money into the graphics on that. It looks fucking amazing. Honestly, outside of as far as realistic and
What are you
high level
shaking your head
details,
about?
because incredible.
The best opening to that game is the opening to the stages where the Headless Songman is just giving you bang.
I don't think, Preston, you
I
won't see
didn't
that
get that
until the
far.
second chapter. It's his second chapter, but they are bangers. No question about it.
Bangers. I'm saying absolute jams.
No,
You should get to the second chapter because it'll only take you an hour and a half or so.
Listen, I've watched Black Myth Wukong. I've heard the jams. I'm just saying that, I dabbled a little bit. I got some game capture for us to put in the background, leave it on my hard drive, so that way if we talk about it, I can pull it up there. But man, that is an incredibly good looking game. I like the gameplay of it. I don't know if I'm in the mood to do another one of those kind of things to where I'm beating my head against a wall against a boss. Because I got to the point to where it was like they show you how to do the beetle thing real quick, and then it's like, okay, you essentially got two paths, right? You got like the guy with like the Darth Maul lightsaber sword, flaming swords over there. Then you got the big head dude on that side. I tried the sword guy a couple times. I'm like, okay, try the big head guy. Excuse me, a couple times. I had a better time with the big head guy. But it's just I'm like, okay, for me to do this, I would have to like play this one boss for a good half an hour, 45 minutes.
The big head guy is not supposed to be beaten that early.
Okay.
It's more like a feint, like come try it, and then you beat your head against the wall and you go somewhere else. I think it's to direct you to the flame guy, because if you beat him, you actually get his staff and you can turn in. Yeah, so I think that's the point. That game is tough. The first playthrough is hard as shit. And then the second playthrough is easy. It's completely opposite. Like 100, like it's a speed run. Mm-hmm. I'm on the third, and the third's actually balanced pretty well. But I haven't played it in a while. But that's where I ended, was on the third playthrough. So
yeah, no, yeah. I just wanted to kind of get a little dabble for Game of the Year discussions. Kind of just wanted to be able to say I've touched it, so I can speak on it a little bit at least. And then I got one more game. Marvel Rivals came out. I played a little bit of that. It was mostly one night of me just kind of messing around with all the characters because there are 33 characters at launch, which is more characters than Overwatch 1 had before it became Overwatch 2. So it's a lot of characters and a lot of things you got to wrap your head around. So I've just been kind of diving into characters here and there just to kind of see how I feel about them. The game plays very well. It looks incredible. The style in it is fucking phenomenal. The voice acting... 1,000% top tier. Half of Critical Role is on the voice acting. Steve Bloom's in there. Yuri Lowenthal plays Spider-Man. Like they got really good people, and like a lot of the I guess you would consider them the seasoned voice actors, the ones who like always end up playing Doctor Strange in all the animated kind of series and stuff like that. He's here to play Doctor Strange here, that kind of deal. It's since I'm trying to get a hold of characters, I'm not doing great, but I'm having fun occasionally when I do it. Messed around with a bunch of Psylocke. She has Peach Momoko's design for the skin, for the default skin, which I think is really cool. That means I don't have to pay $20 for it, which I think technically the skins, if you want them, the skins, it comes with an emote and like a MVP video or whatever little thing, like whatever it shows you at the end of the game if you're the MVP, like a little animation. $16. So you look at Wolverine and his skin in Marvel Rivals, not the greatest. He's got like a blue and yellow jacket on. He kind of looks, all right. But if you want traditional classic Wolverine, which this one they pulled from movies, because they do have a whole like section for MCU skins. This was pulled from Deadpool and Wolverine, which looks really good. So if you want that, you're going to have to pay $16 to get it.
I read that everything was unlockable without money.
It is. You can, so you go through, you play, you get currencies, you get through it. I haven't dived too far into like what kind of currencies you get, because I played a couple matches. I'm like, okay, what kind of currency did I get? I couldn't figure it out. So there's a little bit more to it. It's a little bit more buried, but I'm sure the more I play it, the more I'll find out. But yeah, I've heard people being able just to play a good handful of hours on it and possibly being able to like afford a skin, if you will, just one skin for like whatever character they've been choosing to play. But yeah, I messed around with Psylocke. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'd say my favorite news of that game so far has been people freaking out about the fact that they're not getting rid of the battle passes. So if you buy one, Season 2 comes out, you can either do Season 2 or you can stay on Season 1. They never go away.
But you can't buy them after they're gone. So if you're not around for Season 1 while Season 2 is happening, you cannot buy Season 1 while Season 2 is happening.
Sure, but if you don't finish it, it never goes away.
You can continue on later on.
And yeah, I heard people just like playing this off like it's this amazing new decision. It's just like there's
How diverse did
like
that
Master Chief Collection did it. Halo 5 or no 5, not 5. The one that's out now, right on like Infinite, they've all done that. Like I just love the way the media cycle works. It's like, guys, it's nothing new.
Because it's the first time they've seen it.
Some companies are nice and will decide to do that. Others don't, right? And I'm glad they went that way with it. I like that. But
that way, if you're like, oh, this skin does look cool, I will want to get that skin later on. I'm just not going to play enough to get there. Like, just go ahead and buy the season pass, and then you can go ahead and just hold on to that pass while you kind of unlock everything. Haven't played enough to start unlocking stuff, but there's a lot of cool stuff in there. Jeff, the baby land shark, I have decided that he is the new odd job of our generation. He is super duper tiny. And not only is he tiny, but he can do the whole thing to where, like, he goes into the water and it's just, like, hit water, into the ground or something. And he acts like water to where you just see his fin popping up. So, like, it's even harder to hit him like that. So this game has a lot of things when it comes to sizes of characters. Because I was watching this esports guy, Shroud. He's, like, really known for a lot of first-person shooters and stuff. But he was playing as Black Widow because they just, like, released a trailer for it. He's like, oh, man, a lot of people think she's going to be broken. He's like, she's really fucking hard to play because all these characters in this game are super fucking skinny and they have, like, the smallest fucking hitboxes and they move incredibly fast. So he's like, I'm having a hard time hitting people because everyone's moving around quickly and they're super duper tiny. You toss Jeff into the mix of that and it's even tinier. So, yeah, no, I've enjoyed what little I've played of it. I want to try to sucker you boys into playing a day or two with me. It's free to play. Just download it. Cross play, just not cross progression. So, you know, whenever you play or you buy skins or something, make sure that's like your spot of choice of playing. I think I'm playing on PS5 for now, but I'll probably end up wanting to go PC just because mouse and keyboard accuracy.
I'm not opposed to playing with you. Overwatch was never my
Time
game, though.
is,
So,
yeah.
you know,
Time
we'll
is just
see
more
if...
the thing. But yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe one of these Star Wars Sundays turns into a Marvel Rivals Mondays one day, just for shits and giggles, and we just do it one day. But yeah, that is all the games that I've played. I've watched a couple things. Beastars Final Season Part 1 came out. I'm just about finished. Actually, I did just finish up with Part 1. They are full seasons, so Part 1 and Part 2 will be full 12 issues, 12 episodes. Incredible. Fantastic stuff. Incredible writing. The animation is top tier. And they've even gone into like some of the things about like what happens when two different species do want to get together and mate, like what kind of issues that could cause and stuff like that. So it's been an interesting development on the Beastars this season. So it's been enjoyable. I've been liking it a lot. You guys should watch it. It's really good. Also watch Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew came out. It's very good. If you enjoy Star Wars, it's very enjoyable. More of a kid's show, but in the vein of like Goonies and stuff like that, to where it's like it's made for kids, but it's made by adults. So there's plenty of like, you know, it's not too kiddie for me not to want to watch it. I was talking to Christian last week about the teaser trailer I saw, and I thought there was a Bothan in it. It's not a Bothan. It is a dog-faced dude. I heard the name of the species is the Ishtar. It's a Star Wars species name. But essentially, wolf head, but like red glowing eyes. The only time we've ever seen him beforehand was in the unedited version of A New Hope in the Mos Eisley Cantina. They took him out for the remasters, I guess. But he's super duper dope. He's a big fucking furry wolf man with fucking dual pistols, being a badass. I love him. He's awesome. Jude Law does fantastic in the show. I like the reveals they've been giving us. I don't want to just say anything because I don't think Alex has watched it or anything like that yet, so I don't want to kind of spoil what's happening in it. But it's a good show. It definitely nails that Goonies / like 80s kid team up kind of movie kind of deal. It's very, very well done. I like it a lot. I'm very excited to watch more of it for sure. And lastly, I do like to watch something that kind of reminds me or is of like the Video Game Book Club. And, you know, I didn't want to watch the animated show on Netflix because this isn't really that kind of like series. It's not the same thing, right? It's like it says Castlevania, but it's not Castlevania Lord Show.
I mean, why would you want to watch something
go watch
good?
Something super high rated. Yeah, I could go watch something super high rated.
I'm saving that for the time that we actually do possibly Symphony of the Night. So I'm saving that for there. But there was something that this game reminded me a lot of. A lot. And I think both of you guys have seen this movie. Do you guys remember Hugh Jackman's movie Van Helsing?
Yes.
This game reminds me a lot of this game.
I was in love with the redhead.
Honestly, you're not too far off.
No.
That's probably a fair...
Yeah.
So, you want to know
Dracula's redhead wife, man, was my boo.
He's got 3 wives, and they're all very attractive.
Oh, no, I know, but the redhead specifically.
Yes, of course, yes. So, funny thing is, as Dracula is fighting Van Helsing, he keeps on calling him Gabriel. Because Van Helsing's an immortal kind of deal, and he lost his memory somehow, blah, 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 blah. So that part's in it. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of a nice little funny connection. Obviously, Frankenstein's in it, too, so you got Frankenstein Castle and stuff like that. the form that Dracula takes when he becomes like full vampire looks a lot like the queen vampire that we fought in the game. And then you have I am drawing a blank on her name, Kate
Beckinsale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she looks very pretty the entire.
Don't worry, Alex will never forget that name.
I usually don't either, but for some reason I just blanked on it.
I mean, she was. That's all she did for a while with Van Helsing and all the Underworld. She was married to the director of the Underworld movies and all that. So it's just, I remember.
So,
but yeah, also Kate Beckinsale. So
yeah. Any movie that needed a goth chick in it, she was there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so was Alex in his seat.
At attention. But yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's
unnecessary.
It's just like
unnecessary.
I was talking like more of your actual attention.
We gave you one. You actually said a sentence earlier that was probably the most crazy sentence that has ever been uttered on this podcast. And Alex and I, we just let it go, and you kept talking, and then you had to come back and you were like, nah, let me off the hook once, shame on you, I'm coming at you again.
That's not what I meant by that, but okay. But yeah, that's my week. That's it.
Okay. All right. That's you, Christian.
Yeah, so let's see, I finished 3 games. So I finished up 1000X Resist, a game called Mouthwashing, and then a game called Animal Well. So I finished all 3 of those since the last time we recorded.
I was gonna ask who added Mouthwashing because the cover art of that looks disturbing as hell.
Yeah. So I'll start with. Yeah, I'll go in order of like what I thought was out of the 3 like my favorite. So I'll start with least and then go up. Not least because it's still very good. So 1000X Resist is a game that I got recommended pretty early on in the year when it came out, and then it's been everywhere. It's been on multiple sites, multiple people that we know, but it's been tons of places that have been recommending it. It's just like a really nice sort of like, example of like really good storytelling in the medium, like in just in the way that it tells its story. And I think it absolutely delivers on it for sure. I think that I don't know that I had the like emotional like response to the ending that a lot of people did, it seems, which is totally fine. It's whatever. But I still think it absolutely nails what it set out to do, and it really should be applauded for how it tackles a lot of the themes that it tries to sort of address in its story that it tells. It's super recommend. I think if it's just a walking simulator, there's no combat, there's no anything. Like it's just you're going from place to place and then just sort of exploring this area and then having a story be told to you through different means, honestly. And through different conversations, but it's really cool. I went in completely blind. I went in completely blind to all 3 of these games actually, and I was happy that I was able to be radio silent on them because they're all. If you have anything ruined for you about them, then it would absolutely like sap the magic out of whatever is going to happen. So if you're ever in the mood for just like a kind of like sort of story that has a bunch of different twists and turns and tries to tackle a bunch of different themes around forgiveness and loss and different stuff, totally give it a shot. It's cool. The next one was Animal Well, and another game that I've been hearing about. I just heard, hey, it's a platformer, no combat, and it is fucking weird, like in a lot of different ways, and I was like, oh, well, sign me up, so let's check it out. Animal Well was a game that I thought actually kind of went above. I think it was sold a little bit short is probably too strong, but like it was just even the quick elevator pitches that I got for that game, I don't think quite did the level of quality that's there justice. Like, it is, I think that it is a probably like a pinnacle of teaching people to play your game with no tutorial, like just by like environmental clues, or just letting you sort of just like, like how it used to, like there was times where like you kind of figure out buttons, like you just sit there and start pressing things and then be like, I wonder if I could do this, I wonder if I could do that, and then you would do it, and then it would either work or it wouldn't, and you'd be like, oh, okay, I'm figuring this out, like that's neat, like and different stuff can just happen just based on your interaction with the mechanics. And then once you start to figure out a couple of them, you're like, oh, okay, this is intended. Like, this is what I'm supposed to, like, I'm not breaking something. Like, I'm supposed to figure this out because of this puzzle that I'm put in front of. My idea of how I should be doing this works, and now I'm going to go apply that to other places around there. And that I really found myself like being addicted to that portion way more than like the weirdness that game delivers. Although I do think that is really great. Like, I think they do a great job of sort of having these sort of like, it's like a spooky vibes kind of thing. Not like like scary, but just like little ghost animals that make weird noises sometimes, or like, certain other things that we'll talk about during Game of the Year that I don't want to spoil. But there's moments in that game that you're like, oh, like this, they really kind of nail this like atmospheric sort of vibe they're going for. But yeah, more than anything else, it was just I couldn't stop playing it because I was just like, you'd hit a puzzle, you'd be trying to figure out something in a room, like you're like, okay, I know I can get there, I know I can do this, I just need to figure out what's going on. And then it becomes this thing of like, am I missing a tool that I can go pick up somewhere potentially? Or have I just not figured out a way to do this yet based with the stuff that I already have? And so you're like trying to piece some of this together. And it really, really worked out in a cool way. And then when you finish it, the game sort of opens up like a post game sort of thing. And it turns into like the like hell level that you guys might have seen on like a Hollow Knight speed run from like GDQ, where it's like the crazy buzzsaw, you're like Super Meat Boy, like where that the platforming just gets bananas, and you're like, Jesus Christ, like like it's the post game sort of opens up into a thing like that, because there's some items that you get and you're like, oh, there's been areas that have blocked me for a while now, and I just assumed that they were like dead zones because like there's a barrier there, but then something happens and now all of a sudden like certain barriers can be removed, and you're like, oh fuck me. So then you go and check some of those areas out, and it's like, hey, welcome to the Thunderdome, and you're like, oh Jesus Christ. But it's really, really cool. I super enjoyed that game. I thought it was awesome. And another hard recommend. And then the last game that I played that was absolutely my favorite out of the three, and earned itself a spot on my list this year, like without a doubt, was Mouthwashing. This game is 3.5 hours long. It's just straight story, and unfortunately, it's another one of those that if I say a single word about this story, it ruins the whole like reason to go play this game. I know we usually do a thing at like the end of the year where it's like one game that we would want people to like that we already haven't talked about. Mouthwashing is that game for me. I would love for you guys to also try out Animal Well and 1000X Resist if you feel like it, but if I was to put it in order, like the order that I said was my favorite here, is that's the way that I would say it. But Mouthwashing is the one that I would be like, please just go play it. It's 3.5 hours. It's really, you can do it in one sitting. It's really, really short. But the story and the way that it's delivered and just like everything else about it is fucking nuts. Now, Alex, to your point, you saw the cover art and you're like, that looks like scary. I just will be here to report. It does try to do like a sort of psychological like thing with some of the art that happens in that game, there is absolutely no combat and there is no jump scares. Like it's not trying to scare you. It's like anything, any sort of like weird, creepy thing that happens is more just like it's like a play setting for the vibes that are happening in that scene. But for the most part, it's not, you're never like, it's not like Alien. Like, you're not fighting anything. There's no combat whatsoever.
Sure.
You can't take damage from anything. Like, it's just, you're just walking, talking to people, getting a story, and that's it. But yeah, huge recommend. I mean, just like absolute. So if you guys might have seen it, if you had opened up GG at all, but it was an immediate 5 stars. I would not change a single thing about it. It was fucking nuts. And then I'm trying to think, is there anything else? Yeah, nope, that was it. Yeah, those are the 3 games I played. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Not bad. Well, that was our week. Excuse me. As Christian and I are both coming off of colds. So yeah, that was our week. Join us later this week as we dive into the final part of Lords of Shadow.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything to add before we head out of here, Preston?
No, keep an eye out for what we're doing. We will announce the next video game book club in the last part of Lords of Shadow, but we're going to hold off on doing it until the beginning of next year. We're going to have Game of the Year deliberations at the beginning of the year, so we got about roughly 2 weeks or so. We're going to try to squeeze in a D&D episode, so we'll be starting a new campaign with Jake. And then maybe do a side quest, maybe just toss up our reactions, which, by the way, if you're listening to this as it comes out, it will be Friday the 12th, around 6:30 Central Standard Time, I think. Just Google it if you don't know. The Game Awards, we will be, or at least I will be, and if these boys want to join me, if they are available, to come hang out and talk shit on the Game Awards as we watch it. So we'll put that up on YouTube. We might just do that as our secondary part of the week as well that week. So just keep an eye out for what we're doing. But check us out.
You said, just to clarify, you said Friday the 12th, and the 12th is a Thursday. So
all right, so that's why I said
it's the Thursday. It's
Thursday.
6:30.
It's 12, yes.
6:30 CST, 12 on the 12th, which is a Thursday. Yeah.
Google it. Whenever it happens, we will be live. In fact, if you want to, just go to twitch.tv/testingroomlive. You can hit that little notification button. It'll let you know on your little telephono or every time we pop up there. So feel free to do that. And then, yeah, check me out on Star Wars Sundays playing some Outlaws. You can see me get real fucking frustrated. It's very funny. If you want, go back to the YouTubes on youtube.com/@thetestingroom. You can see me beat Lando's ass in some Sabak we did at the very end of that episode, where I got to finish up the Lando main story kind of stuff there, too. So it's a lot of fun. Other than that, keep an eye out.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to check us out later on in the week. And with that, Preston, you know what to do. Don't let those species mix.
Hit it. Nope. That's fine. They're not abominations. They're fine.
Thank you for listening to another episode of The Testing Room. To catch up on past episodes or check out the newest ones when they drop, follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. If watching is more your thing, check out youtube.com/thetestingroom or Twitch TV/testingroompod. To leave comments and ask questions, follow us on Instagram @testingroompod and email us at testingroompod@gmail.com. See you next time.